Portsmouth firefighter 51-year-old Mark Stuck faces a judge. His alleged crimes: setting dumpsters on fire in Chesapeake. 13 News Now reporter Jacqueline Lee was in the courtroom and has the new details. Jacqueline.
David, I got a hold of these court documents today, and I found out how investigators tied the crimes to Stuck and why he allegedly did it.
Throughout the course of last year, someone started several dumpster fires behind this Chesapeake restaurant. According to court documents, investigators installed hidden cameras. What they found landed Portsmouth firefighter Mark Stuck in court Thursday. The man who spent the last 30 years fighting fires is accused of starting them. Facing 5 felony arson charges, Stuck waived his preliminary hearing, choosing to go straight to trial.
This is the proper step in his case to obtain what we hope will be the best outcome for him.
Documents reveal Stuck admitted to investigators that he set the fires. He said he did it 5 times, each time after he picked up food from the restaurant. In a written confession, he said he used his cigarette lighter, would reach into the dumpster, and set a piece of paper on fire. When investigators asked why he did it, he said, "Just being stupid." When asked for comment, Stuck's attorney said,
"I certainly don't think commenting on the evidence right now is appropriate, so I will respectfully decline."
As for the next steps, Stuck's case will go before a grand jury August 7th. Attorneys will then schedule a trial date. Live in studio, Jacqueline Lee, 13 News Now.